Welcome to the Nonfiction Insights channel. Today we're looking at a book that Crucial Conversations, Tools for Talking When Stakes Are High.
Oh, absolutely. It tackles those tough talks we often dread.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The ones where opinions differ, the stakes feel really high, and, well, emotions start running wild.
And the authors argue, pretty convincingly, I think, that our inability to handle these moments well is actually at the root of a lot of problems, personal, professional, you name it.
We've all been there, right?
Mm.
Walking away from a talk feeling unheard, or maybe things just didn't get resolved.
Totally. Or worse, things got more tense.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. What exactly is a crucial conversation according to the book? Is it just like boardroom arguments?
No, not at all. That's one of the key points. It's much broader. It's really any conversation where you've got those three ingredients: opposing opinions, high stakes, and strong emotions.
So it could be talking to your partner about finances, or giving feedback to a colleague, or even dealing with a sensitive family issue.
Exactly. Those everyday moments that have a significant impact on your life, your relationships, your team's success, they all qualify.
And why is mastering these so critical? What happens if we just keep avoiding them or messing them up?
Well, the book lays out the consequences pretty starkly. Avoidance leads to things like simmering resentment. Poor decisions get made because not all the information's on the table.
Right. Issues just fester.
Exactly. Opportunities get missed. Their research basically says that behind almost every chronic problem in families, organizations, wherever, you'll find crucial conversations that people aren't having or aren't handling well.
It's kind of frustrating, isn't it? The moment a conversation becomes crucial is often when we're at our worst behavior.
That's the irony they point out. Our natural fight or flight instincts kick in. We're wired to handle threats, but we treat these conversational threats like physical ones.
Which leads to...
Yelling, maybe, or exaggerating, saying things we regret, or the opposite, just completely withdrawing, shutting down, silence.
neither of which helps actually solve the problem.
Not remotely.
Hmm.
Think about a relationship where you address problems quickly versus one where things just hang in the air for weeks.
Oh, yeah. The first one feels much healthier, more trusting.
Right. That highlights the impact. But the good news, and this is central to the book, is that these are skills. They can be learned.
Okay. That's encouraging. It's not just about personality.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And they share some powerful stories like families reconnecting after being estranged or even preventing medical errors because someone felt safe enough to speak up. It shows these skills can be genuinely transformative.
And they've even updated it for things like video calls and diversity issues, right? So it's still relevant.
Very much so. The principles adapt. Okay, so we know what they are and why they matter. Where do we start improving?
The book puts a huge emphasis on what happens before you even say a word, getting yourself right first.
Yeah, they claim something like 70% of success comes down to preparation, getting your mindset right, and a big piece of that is choosing the right topic. They have this acronym, CPR.
CPR. Not the life-saving kind, I assume.
No. It stands for content, pattern, and relationship. The idea is that we often address the wrong level of the problem.
Okay, break that down. Content.
Content is the immediate issue, the specific thing that just happened, like your colleague interrupted you in the meeting this morning.
Got it. And pattern.
Pattern is when that content issue becomes a recurring theme. They interrupt you frequently, not just once. It's a habit.
Okay, and relationship.
Relationship is about how that pattern is affecting the bigger picture, the trust, the respect, how you work together. You start feeling maybe disrespected or like your contributions aren't valued because of the constant interruptions.
Ah, I see. So you need to figure out which level you actually need to address. Because talking about one interruption is different from talking about feeling disrespected, generally.
Exactly. You have to unbundle them.
Yeah.
Sometimes the issue isn't even the content or pattern, but the process of how you're communicating. And they warn against the recent overrate trap, focusing on the latest minor incident instead of the real underlying pattern or relationship issue.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we've identified the right level using CPR. What's next in this self-prep phase?
The next big one is start with heart. This is all about clarifying what you really want from the conversation,
What you really want, as opposed to...
as opposed to what we often end up wanting in the heat of the moment. Like maybe you start wanting to solve a problem, but then things get tense and suddenly your motive shifts to just wanting to win the argument.
Or wanting to be right. Or even wanting to, like, punish the other person a little.
Exactly. The book uses an anecdote about sisters fighting over the bathroom. Their stated goal was using the toilet, but their behavior showed they really just wanted to be first or make the other one miserable.
So how do we stay focused on the right goal?
You have to keep asking yourself, what do I really want for myself here? What do I want for the other person, for the relationship? And Crucially, how would I behave if I really wanted those things? Look at your actions. They reveal your true, perhaps shifted motive.
Okay, checking your motives.
Yeah.
And tied to this is avoiding the fool's choice, right?
Yes, this is huge. The fool's choice is that false dilemma where we think we have to choose between telling the truth or keeping a friend, being honest or being respectful.
Like either I say what I think and cause a fight, or I stay silent and nothing changes.
Precisely. Skilled communicators, the book argues, reject that. They believe there's almost always a way to be both honest and respectful. Find the and.
Be candid and kind. Okay, so we've got our topic, CPR, checked our motives, start with heart. What else before we talk?
The final piece of internal work is master my stories. This is about understanding where your emotions actually come from.
Okay, I'm listening. Where do they come from, if not directly from what happened?
They come from the stories we tell ourselves about what happened. The book calls this the path to action. We see or hear something.
Fact.
Then we tell ourselves a story, an interpretation about that fact.
Our story.
Then we feel an emotion based on that story.
Feeling.
And then we act based on that feeling.
See, story, feel, act. Can you give an example?
Sure. Say Louis dominates the presentation you were supposed to co-lead. Fact. Your story might be, he's trying to undermine me, maybe because I'm a woman.
Okay, that's the
My
story.
feelings stemming from that story might be anger or resentment.
Feel it.
And the action. Maybe making sarcastic comments later or withdrawing.
Action. Got it. So the key is to challenge the story.
Exactly. You gain control over your emotions not by suppressing them, but by questioning the story that created them. You have to get back to the facts. Ask yourself, what did I actually see and hear? Separate, observable data from your interpretation.
And be aware of common, unhelpful story types.
Right. They highlight victim stories, it's not my fault. Villain stories, it's all their fault. And helpless stories, there's nothing I can do. These are clever stories because they excuse us from responsibility.
They let us off the hook.
Yeah. A really powerful way to challenge these, especially villain stories, is to ask, why would a reasonable, rational, and decent person do this?
Trying to humanize the other person, even if you disagree with their actions. Find alternative explanations.
It softens the judgment and opens the door to empathy, which is crucial for dialogue.
Okay, this internal prep CPR, start with heart, master my stories, feels foundational. But even if I do all that, the other person might not feel safe, right?
Absolutely critical point. The next big idea is creating safety. Dialogue, which they define as the free flow of meaning between people, just cannot happen without safety.
And when people don't feel safe, they resort to
Silence or violence, we touched on this. Silence is withholding, meaning masking your true views, avoiding sensitive topics, withdrawing from the conversation entirely.
like climbing up.
Yep. And violence is trying to force meaning onto others, controlling the conversation, labeling people, attacking their ideas or them personally.
Like getting aggressive or defensive. So how do we spot when safety is dropping?
You need to learn to look. Watch for the signs of silence or violence in the other person, but also crucially watch for it in yourself. What's your own style under stress? Do you tend to shut down or lash out?
Self-awareness is key there, too. They even have a test for that, don't they?
They do on their website. Understanding your own tendencies helps you catch yourself. And this is even trickier in virtual settings, where you have fewer cues. You have to actively work harder to gauge safety.
Okay, so we spot the signs. How do we actually make it safe or restore it if it's been lost?
2 pillars hold up safety: mutual purpose and mutual respect.
Mutual purpose. Does the other person believe I care about their goals, too, not just my own?
Exactly. Do they see you working towards a common outcome, or at least respecting their interests? You need to clarify your intent and find that shared ground. Even just wanting to understand each other can be a starting mutual purpose. And it has to be mutual purpose. They need to care about your purpose too.
And mutual respect. Do they feel like I respect them as a person, even if we disagree?
Yes. Disrespect shuts down conversations faster than almost anything. You have to communicate that fundamental respect for their humanity, even if you find their current behavior difficult.
So if safety drops, maybe I said something wrong or they misunderstood me, how do I fix it?
There are specific tools. First, if you genuinely messed up and damaged respect, apologize. Sincerely. It means prioritizing the dialogue over your ego.
Okay, simple but powerful. What else?
Contrast. This is a brilliant tool. The don't do statement. You clarify what you don't intend, especially if they've misunderstood, and then state what you do intend.
Like, I don't want you to think I'm questioning your expertise. I do want to understand how this approach fits with our budget.
Perfect example. It addresses the perceived threat directly. And if you're really stuck on purpose, they offer SRIB.
Another acronym, CRIB.
Commit to seek mutual purpose. State it out loud. Recognize the purpose behind the strategy. Look past their specific demand to their underlying need. Invent a mutual purpose if one isn't obvious, and brainstorm new strategies that serve that mutual purpose.
Crib, commit, recognize, invent, brainstorm. A roadmap for finding common ground when you seem far apart. Okay, safety is established. Now, how do I share my potentially difficult perspective?
This is where state comes in. It's how you talk about sensitive topics effectively when safety is present.
State.
Let's unpack that one.
Share your facts. Start with the objective, observable data, the least controversial parts.
Tell your story.
Yeah.
Explain your interpretation, your conclusion based on those facts. But, and this is key, present it as your story, not undeniable truth. Use I statements. Ask for others' paths. Genuinely invite their perspective. How do you see it? What's your view?
Second T.
Talk tentatively. Use cautious language. I was wondering if, it seems to me, this shows you're not asserting absolute certainty and are open to dialogue. Encourage testing. Explicitly invite challenge. Do you see it differently? What am I missing? This shows you value the dialogue over just being right.
Okay, state. Share facts. Tell story. Ask for paths. Talk tentatively. Encourage testing. That feels like a respectful way to put your view out there, but dialogue isn't just talking, right? It's listening too.
Absolutely. You need to actively explore their path to add to that shared pool of understanding. If they're hesitant or have gone silent or violent, the book offers AMPP.
AMPP. Okay, what's this one for?
It's for drawing others out. Simply invite them to share. What are your thoughts on this? Mirror, respectfully acknowledge the emotion you're seeing or hearing. You seem concerned about that. Paraphrase. Restate what you heard in your own words to check understanding and show you're listening. So, if I understand correctly, you're worried about X because of Y.
And the last P.
Prime. This is, if they're still holding back, you offer your best guess about what they might be thinking or feeling, gently priming the pump. Are you maybe feeling like this process isn't fair?
AMPP ask. Mirror. Paraphrase. Prime. Tools for active listening and encouraging others, and while listening.
Remember to agree whenever you genuinely do. Don't argue about things you actually agree on. If they miss something, build on their points. And in addition to that, if you disagree, compare your path with theirs tentatively, rather than just stating they're wrong. I see it a bit differently from my perspective.
Agree, build, compare. Nice. So we've had the conversation, share perspectives, hopefully reach some understanding. How do we make sure it leads somewhere?
Great question. That's moving to action. A key point here is separating dialogue from decision-making. Just talking doesn't mean a decision is made.
So you need to be explicit about how you'll decide.
Yes. Decide how to decide first. The book outlines 4 methods. Command, one person decides. Consult, get input, then one person decides. Vote, majority rules. Or consensus, everyone agrees and supports it.
And you choose based on the situation, who needs to be involved, how important commitment is, etc.
Exactly. Then, once a decision is made, you need clear follow-through. That's the WWF.
WWF.
Who will do what? Assign specific names.
Yeah.
We often means no one.
Does what?
Be super clear on the deliverable. What does done look like? Use contrasting here too. What I don't want is X. What I do want is Y.
By when?
Set clear deadlines. Vague timelines lead to inaction.
And how will you follow up?
Build in accountability. How will progress be checked? When will you review it?
WWF. Who, what, when, follow up. Seems crucial for turning talk into results, even in personal conversations. Just summarizing what was agreed.
Definitely. Clarity prevents future misunderstandings.
Okay, one last area the book touches on, which feels really relevant, is receiving tough feedback ourselves.
Ah, yes. Retake your pen. This is about resilience. How do you handle it when someone gives you difficult feedback, maybe not even skillfully?
Right. It can feel like an attack.
The idea is that feedback only really hurts when we let it threaten our core needs for safety and worth. We give the other person the pen to write our definition of ourselves.
So retaking your pen means not letting their words automatically define your worth.
Exactly. It's about separating the feedback, which might contain useful nuggets, from your inherent value as a person. They use examples from places like the Other Side Academy, where people learn to take really harsh feedback non-defensively.
How do they do that?
They learn to look for the potential truth in it, the gold, without letting the negative delivery or judgment demolish their self-worth. The book offers cure for this. Consider the message separate judgments from observations. Understand and accept any truth you can find. Reflect and reframe it as a chance to learn or grow. And engage and explore. Ask clarifying questions to understand better, rather than just defending.
Consider, understand, reflect, engage. A framework for processing feedback constructively. Wow, there's really a lot packed into this book.
There really is. It's a comprehensive toolkit designed to be used piece by piece as needed.
we've really only scratched the surface, haven't we? But hopefully this gives a good sense of the core principles.
I think so. The main message is clear. These skills are learnable, and they can make a huge difference.
So, thinking back maybe about a conversation that went poorly or one you're avoiding,
Right.
which of these tools jumps out? Maybe focusing on mutual purpose or using state.
Yeah, or even just that initial step of mastering your story before you react, it really puts the power back in your hands.
It's definitely an ongoing practice, not a one-time fix. But understanding these ideas feels like a really solid starting point for transforming those difficult interactions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It empowers you to approach them with more confidence and skill, aiming for better outcomes for everyone involved.
We really encourage everyone listening to reflect on these concepts. How might they apply to a specific challenge you're facing? What questions does this raise for you?
What scenarios are you thinking about differently now? It's the start of an exploration.
Well, thank you for taking this deep dive into crucial conversations with us.
Always a pleasure.
Please subscribe to the Nonfiction Insights channel for more explorations of impactful ideas.